TheHapaPodcast, and I have my first guest, Shi Smith. And today, we're just going to be talking about random shit. So, episode 13. Okay. So...
Oh, yeah, I definitely have to ask you if we can say bad words.
Oh, yeah, you can say bad words. So, there's this thing I uploaded on called, Buzzsprout. And, you have to check a box, I guess, if there's explicit material. So, I checked that because I say a lot of bad words.
Yeah, I don't intend to be cussing out, just in case I slip a bad word or two.
Oh, well, because this one isn't being, recorded on my GoPro. That's this thing. So I'm just gonna put, an audio version, and, on YouTube, because you have to have, a background picture.
Right.
I got a picture of my grandma, and there's one where she's, chugging a beer, and I'm like, oh, shit, my grandma never drinks. So I was like, oh, that could be funny. And, I called her today, and, I'm like, hey, grandma, would it be okay if I use your picture? I don't want to use some without your permission. She goes, oh, yeah, why? Do I look adorable in it? I was like, oh, yeah, sure. And that's all she wanted to know.
You didn't tell the picture was?
Nah. Oh, no, see, I didn't say which picture. It was a picture. Either that or it's, well, either that or I was going to use, a picture, so the retirement homes and, community homes, since they're, closed down to the public because, of all the old people and COVID,
right.
We can't visit my grandma, so we, one of the, helper nurse people there or something, Sylvia, she, takes pictures of my grandma, so when my grandma's in, ceramics or arts and crafts or some shit, she just, smiles. I'm like, oh.
That's so cute.
But yeah, but it's, crazy, though, because, we were able to visit her up until, July 15th or something, and you could only visit them twice a week, and so when we'd visit her, we'd have to sit outside the building, and through the doorway, and then on her side of the doorway, it's just this giant glass panel, and they have to sit behind that and talk, and you can't. Yeah, I don't know. I've never been to jail, but I assume if you're talking to someone through the phone.
You're behind the glass.
Yeah, but I was like, oh.
You guys, I'm sure it's tough for her.
Oh yeah, well, since we can't see her, every Tuesday, my mom and my aunties will Zoom and have a Zoom session with her, so she sees them.
Yeah.
But I think she's getting sad because it's bro, they can't leave, and if you do leave, you can leave, but if you do leave, it's you have to be in quarantine in your room by yourself, and I'm like, bro, if your only friends out there are other old people, being in your room sounds terrible.
That's good for an older person too, to be shut up by themselves.
Oh no. That's how you get those far right-wing Republicans. I'm just kidding. But no, no, swear, when you isolate yourself, my Auntie Patty, she's on Facebook, so when you hear Facebook and someone older, do you assume oh, what are they posting about? What would you think they'd be posting about on there? Politics.
Yeah, politics, home remedies.
Right.
For
and then they post a picture oh, I'm out here in Hawaii. Hope someone doesn't come and break into my house while I'm gone. But she does that.
Those really sketchy looking religious posts, those super about Jesus. But that's more on my end, Caribbean grandma, Caribbean auntie, sending you. The Lord has a whatever. My grandpa sends them to me. I've been trying to call that man for his birthday for the past couple weeks. His birthday was July 27th, a month apart from my birthday. And we both missed each other's birthday. So I meant to call him. I called him. He still has not answered me, but he's sending me WhatsApp pictures about Jesus. I'm like, this man.
You need Jesus in your life. It's okay. No, remember, it was 2019, so not her recent birthday, but the one before it, my grandma, because I was out in Vegas doing that whole rehab thing with my cousin Laura and her husband Zach, I didn't see her, so when I call her, I go, oh, hey, grandma, happy birthday, and she goes, oh, you remembered? Wow, I haven't seen you. I thought you were just forgetting me on my birthday. I'm like, what the fuck? And so, yeah, it was hella funny, because I guess I was the only cousin that called her. So, yeah, it's pretty bad.
Be nice to your grandparents.
Oh, no, my grandpa, see, because my grandma lives in, a retirement home now, and, she used to live out on a farm with my grandpa, because they owned a farm for, it's been in our family for over 100 years, and, Yeah, like we kept it through World War II because like when the Japanese were being put in the internment camps, they either had to like sell all their stuff for really cheap or like you would have to leave it behind and then people would just move into your house and take it and shit. And so yeah, like my grandpa's neighbor, they watched their farm for him and they took care of like their crops and stuff for a couple years. So it's kind of cool. I was like lit. But
is that your grandpa that passed not too recently?
Yeah.
Like too recently?
It's June 13th, 2017. So yeah.
It's fairly recent.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's not as bad. See, like, cause that was the first person I really lost in my life, who was like the first person, so it kind of like hit. But since that was also like my father figure, I didn't really have a good like male role model to kind of tell me or like kind of guide me through the whole like grieving process. In fact, my dad, like, it was weird. He called him because like he liked my grandparents, but like when my parents divorced, they didn't really see each other often, and like yeah, my dad called me and he goes, oh, it won't be as sad as when my granddad died, and I was like, what the fuck, bro? So like family shady, but like that, and so like I was like, wow, so yeah. But after that, it was weird. After my grandpa died, there were a lot of people who died after that. Like, my friend James, he was a year younger than me in high school, but we always played PlayStation and like Call of Duty online together. And
Huh? I didn't know. I'm sorry to hear that. I didn't know that.
Oh no, so well, he and his friend were on Xanax, and they were drinking, and his friend was driving the truck, and it's actually the street that like I live right next to, so I like drive by it every day. But like they flipped the car, and I guess James like something punctured something, and he bled out. And then the friend was alive, so the driver. So it was like, ooh. So I think he went. Oh yeah, he went to prison for. I don't know if he's been sentenced yet, but it's kind of weird the legal system though. How like some people get sentenced right away, and then some people you gotta wait a long ass time.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Like in other countries, it's even worse. Like they never even get to see trial. Like they've been there their whole lives and never even get to see trial to like sentence them. Like it's actually insane.
Well, that's China now, like with Hong Kong, because when they did the like the two countries one law or something like that, and they got Hong Kong back after like the 100-year treaty and shit, and then they just annexed him or whatever. Yeah, I guess if you speak out against the government in any way now, it's a minimum of 3 years in prison to life. And I'm like, bro, fuck, 3 years in a Chinese prison?
No, for real, and it's crowded, overcrowded as hell, like painfully overcrowded, and underfunded as well, like.
Well, like, that's how you know China's dumb, though. Because, like, remember they did that one kid rule where you could only have one kid?
Yeah.
And, like, most of the people pick boys? Huh?
They still try to regulate, sort of, like, with population of, like, people having children and stuff, like, it's not as, like, definite, but they'll still be on your ass.
Well, like, it's weird because they, a lot of the Chinese families would want boys because they go, oh, they're stronger, things like that. But then I go, well, your son's not gonna go fuck your neighbor's son and get him pregnant, right? So you gotta have kids, right?
Right, you have all boys, like, where are the women that create the children?
They could be cloning people, though, because I was hearing this on Joe Rogan's podcast. They started cloning goats and pigs. And now, so, like, if they're cloning goats and pigs, right, they probably have chickens and cows and humans on the way. And be like, bro, imagine seeing that, like, 2021, because, like, 2020 is going to end, like, on a high note, but it won't be that high. And then 2021, we're going to see robots or, like, clones of people.
Yeah, have you seen, in some areas here, I think it's in Atlanta, there's, like, a restaurant where they have only, like, robot waiters.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.
That's terrifying. I am not a fan of the freaking and the shit going on. Like,
but like,
my iPhone enough.
Oh?
I said my iPhone is enough of a robot for me. I think those Alexas and shit they're terrifying.
Well, what kind of robot though? Do you mean like
a literal, like, Futurama? Not Futurama.
No, but like oh, Dragon Ball Z, like the androids?
Or is it the Jetsons? What the fuck is the the show that I'm thinking about? It's like an older show on like Boomerang.
Yeah, Jetsons. Like with the robot maid?
Yes, but like a waitress or a waiter. And then they complain about, this immigrant and that immigrant taking up our jobs. What is technology doing?
All them mechanicals taking our jobs.
Have you been to McDonald's recently? Where they don't take your order anymore? Like, they just have a screen or whatever, and you put in the order, and then you just pick it up?
You gotta go through the drive-thru, that's why.
Right, the drive-thru, they speak to you. But, like, you walk into McDonald's, and it's this big-ass screen where you, like, order. That's so wild to me.
I like those, because they never have a line, really, in front of them, unless someone's standing, directly in front of the screen. And I went to one by my school in San Francisco. I didn't even see a line, and all of a sudden I'm just tapping on the screen. I just feel a hand, like a big ass hand on my right shoulder. I'm like, what the fuck? And you like look up, and this guy's like, hey buddy, there's a line. And it's like, oh shit, like, bro, like it's so unorganized at McDonald's now. Well, like, have you seen that movie, The Founder?
The Founder.
It has Michael Keaton, the guy who plays like the Birdman or whatever, and he's in one of the newer Spider-Man movies. He plays this guy who is like a salesman, kind of goes around the country, sells things to restaurants, and it's like based in the 40s. And then he stumbles across this like burger shack, and it's McDonald's, and he gets into business with the guys, and he like basically builds McDonald's up from a burger stand where it only have like sodas and hamburgers to where it's at right now. And
that's pretty cool. Is it like it's supposed to be like a documentary sort of thing, like a bio?
Yeah, like a biopic, like that.
Yeah.
Where it's, yeah, okay, so like a biopic, yeah. But the cool thing was like he had this powder in it, and he's like, oh, so that's what they used to make like the McFlurries, but they had powder, and you just pour in water with it and mix it, and it turns into ice cream. And I'm like, what the fuck?
That's kind of cool though. Sounds kind of gross, but that's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool, but then they go like, oh, if we can do that with McFlurries, I guess we can just grind up whole chickens, like beaks and feet and shit, and like
But
make
they
them.
should bring that back for McFlurries, because the ice cream machine is always broken.
Oh, see, I don't know. I never get those there. I get like ices at Burger King, and their machine's broken.
I was really wanting to try the Snickerdoodle McFlurry. And they were like, our machine is broken. I'm like, this gotta be some type of conspiracy that every McDonald's ice cream machine is broken.
What time did you go though? Was it early a.m.?
No, it was like middle of the day, like 4 in the afternoon. Like, come on now.
I was like, oh, if it's early morning, I could see saying that shit. Like, nah.
Yeah, and it's like broken. I live in like the suburbs too. I'm like, what's going on?
Nah, like.
Breaking.
I don't know. I could relate. I mean, if it wasn't broken, I could relate. I remember like I used to work at the sandwich place called Deli Delicious, and we'd close at 9, but people would come in at 8:57 like, hey, can I get some fucking beer batter fries? And you're like, no bitch, that cooks for 5 minutes. We close in 3.
Exactly. Like working in the food industry you gotta have patience, because that's like, I used to work at a brewery, and then people would want to come in like 15-20 minutes before we close and order a whole steak meal, and I'm like, we're about to close the kitchen, but we can't say no.
But you're open for another 2 minutes, like.
Right. Oh my god, I had some really weird guests once come into there, and like they came in like 5 minutes maybe before we closing. Everybody else was gone. We're like cleaning off tables and shutting down the bar, closing the kitchen, and they come in and they seem like they already had a few, and they're like, hey, you guys, we're sorry, like, can we just have one drink? Like, we know, like, we're gonna head out, can we, like, order some food? And we're like, kitchen's closed, but, like, you guys gonna get something quick, whatever, like, it's perfectly fine, whatever. And so I forgot what they ordered, but they made me feel completely uncomfortable. That was, like, my first sexual harassment at work situation I've ever experienced. It was really, really, really odd. So they came in, and they were like, I think the woman may have been, like, I don't know, some type of Hispanic descent, and the man was like white, and they came in there talking to me, and I'm like, I was an essay, a service assistant, so I'm like, I greet you with like, the water and the nice bottle, and I pour your water, and talk to you, greet you before your server comes over. And so I'm pouring pouring the water or whatever, and they're asking me all these questions. They're asking me, like, oh, what would you recommend on the menu, like alcohol-wise? And at the time I was 17, so I was like, I can't really recommend you anything, but from, I still learn about these things and line up and stuff, and they tell us about it, and they update us. I'm like, yeah, I'm 17, so I can't really give you any, like, personal preferences and personal, like, experiences, but, I can let you know just what they're supposed to taste like from what I've been told. And so she's like, oh, like, do you drink? And I was like,
what are you, a cop?
Yeah, I'm like, ma'am, I'm not at liberty to tell you that. Like, I just told you I'm 17, and I'm not gonna tell you whether or not I was like, and then she's like, no, just tell me. And I was like, well, like, in the comfort of my home with my mom and stuff like that, And she, like, literally slapped and grabbed my ass, and she's like, you bad girl. And I'm like, what? She slapped and grabbed my ass, but that's not where it stopped. And I'm pouring this water, stops, like, the water's not coming out. So I'm pouring it, and she's like, asking these questions, and she's like furthering the questions. She's like, oh my god, you're so bad, blah blah. And she keeps talking to me, and she keeps finding reasons to slap and grab my ass. And mind you, the man is sitting across from her, and he's smiling, he's into it. And I'm like looking around the restaurant, like, is no one seeing me get violated right now? Like, and it's not just like a tap. First of all, you shouldn't even be touching my ass. You're a guest in a restaurant. This is a public place. You don't know me. We are strangers. You should not be touching me in the first place. This is pre-COVID, so I can't even say, you shouldn't be touching me because of COVID. But this woman, granted, my ass looked great in the jeans, but I didn't need her to be, like, copping a feel.
And she didn't have her drink yet? Or she did?
They were, like, already kind of drunk before they came. They probably were, like, bar hopping, I assume. And so they came to, like, get a drink and, like, get some, like, food, I guess, to sober them up. I don't know. And I think she mentioned because you could have, like, beer tours in the area where I used to live, and because there was, like, a lot of breweries and stuff, and, like, downtown Roswell was, like, a whole, like, line of breweries. So I think that they were, like, doing the beer tour, and this was, like, I guess the last stop where they just ended up over here. I don't know. But it was just the slap and the grab for me. Like, it wasn't even a tap. Like, she was really getting underneath the sheet.
Not even a slap and tickle, just like a slap and grab. Damn.
A slap and grab. That's more than most men I've ever met yet.
Well, like,
she's all up in there.
Are customers at breweries usually like intoxicated, or have they had a few drinks in them before they come in, or like do they usually act that way while they're there?
Time of day too, and the time of the week. Like, if it's a weekend, they usually come in early and then just stay there all day. And sometimes we have, like, live music and stuff, and we have, like, little concerts and stuff every week, like Thursdays and Sundays. So they'll come in and just hang out all day, honestly. And we have, like, patio space and whatever, so you can hang out outside, whatever. So yeah, they come in and they try all of the new taps and the new like the new little the new little drafts that we have and stuff. And so they'll just drink all day. They come in ready to like on an empty stomach, on, like, no alcohol, and they stay all day and then get.
Okay. See, I can relate to that. Like the no food in your stomach when you drink, you get really fucked up.
But yeah, no, we also serve really high quality food though. So, like, they come in for the food and, like, the different courses and stuff.
What kind of food was, like, really popular there? Like burgers or?
Like, we had our pork chop and, like, pork belly.
Oh, okay.
Also really popular. Yeah, we had pork belly. One of our really popular appetizers. This is from your brewery, by the way, if anyone wouldn't know. But we had Brussels sprouts as, like, one of our appetizers, like, I guess fried Brussels sprouts. But I've never really eaten a Brussels sprout or liked Brussels sprouts until I went there, and it's like it has, like, blue cheese and, like, this
You said blue cheese?
Blue cheese on top, yeah. Cheese crumbles. It was good though. It was good. I never expected it to be good. But my personal favorite there was the double stack. It was like the from the earth burger. Super good.
What was in that one?
It changed. The menu changed. What's in that one is just like 2 stacks of, like, patties and cheese. And what is it called? Tomato and bacon jam. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's like
no, I didn't know you could make them into jams.
Bacon jam. It's literally like minced bacon, like and ketchup warmish, but jam. It's so hard to explain, but it's literally just like minced coagulated bacon.
Oh.
It's not
The
nasty.
listeners can't see my face right now, but it's in total disgust at bacon jam. Like,
it was actually good. I've never had bacon jam before, but I don't know. I guess it was just a way to describe the form that the bacon was in. But it tastes
was
good.
it like
It's pretty
thick
good.
bacon, or was it like thin and like cooked, or like, because when I think of bacon, for some reason, that artificial flavor, there was like a candy store here one time by a movie theater, and they had bacon mints. And bacon mints, like, bro, that was the worst shit. So I'm just imagining bacon jam, like.
I had those before. It tastes like straight dead animal, which is obviously, that's what it is, but it tastes like it just died. But no, it's like.
It tastes
the
like.
texture.
Huh? What?
You know what a patty feels like before it's cooked, kind of like.
Oh yeah.
Sort of like that, and like cook it a little bit, but it's still like mincy.
Oh.
Like I don't.
Oh, that sounds nasty. So it's not like the dark brown part on the bacon strip. It's like the kind of lighter pinker part.
Like, you know what bacon bites are, right? Like.
No. Are they just like little?
You ever had salad bacon bites?
Yeah.
But like softer and like I don't know, like regular non-crispy bacon, but just minced really tiny, made into sort of like a paste in a way. I don't know.
I mean, I would try.
It's good though.
Like, do you prefer crispy or just like soft bacon though? Like, say you're making the bacon, right? Not like you're going to, I don't know, IHOP or Denny's, because that shit looks like it came out of the microwave.
Denny's? Who the hell eats Denny's?
Denny's is better than IHOP. One. Okay, so you gotta hear this out, right? Have you seen Breaking Bad? Right? Walter and Jesse are always in Denny's. Huh?
I don't like it. I've seen it. I haven't finished it. I'm on like the last season, crawling. Like I just put it down because I'm like I can't do it anymore.
Oh, that show. Oh, you gotta watch Better Call Saul after that. They're coming out with their last season. I think in February is the last season of the show.
Honestly, I'd much rather watch that than Breaking Bad. I literally can't stand Walter, and he's the main character. I cannot stand.
Isn't that cool though? Like how television did that? Because like earlier TV shows, you'd have like I Love Lucy or some kind of sitcom like I don't know, Good Times or Family Times or whatever. And then like you'd root for the characters because they're good, right? They have a moral compass, but you usually don't see that struggle. But then I think shows with like The Sopranos or Breaking Bad, the main character is like conflicted, and yeah, you want to root for him, but then you see all the bad things they do, and yet no matter through that, you kind of get that, you get their perspective. So it's like, bro, I like that about Breaking Bad because Walter White really feels like he's a guy who lost everything, and then it's like, bro, he just wants to get it back for himself because it's like, yeah, I don't know. I won't ruin it though for the ending for you, but yeah, it's good.
It's a lot. I love Jesse. You know something about that show though? I think Junior deserved a better character arc. I think he deserved more of a character arc because I feel like they could have gone in really like a lot of interesting directions, especially like with him being a disabled person. I feel like they had a lot of room to give him more of like a character kind of exists.
Huh?
He just kind of exists.
Though sometimes there are those characters, right? Because like in real life, the guy who plays him, I forget his name. It's like I think it's Robert something. He actually has cerebral palsy, so the same disease he has in the show, and like he doesn't kind of walk around like that, but he kind of sounds the same. So like at times after I saw like an interview in like the second season, I was like, does he act or does he just talk normal? So I wasn't sure, but like it was kind of cool to see him do that, though, because the show takes place over a 1-year span in like not real life but in the show time, and like because of how Walter's trying to like hide the drug business from his family. I do like what you said about like the character arc, but I go like, would it work if he did something more along the lines of like Skylar, her character arc, or would it be like something like Hank's wife Marie, where she's just kind of in the background?
Right.
Like, what would you prefer to see from that?
Yeah, I feel like she has. I feel like like something like Skylar, because I feel like like the times where he'll just leave and go hang out with his friends. I always felt like there was something more to that. Like there's something more that they could have gotten out to that. Like giving them a little side scene, and to know him too, because like he's starting to drive and all this stuff. Like he's like in that pivotal age of like.
That's why he changed his name to Flynn. He's like, oh, I'm Flynn now. It's like.
Yeah, he's like, I'm Flynn now. But yeah, I feel like they should have given him, like some type of like get to know him more in a way. Like I wanted to get to know him, and I didn't want him to be such a background character because I feel like they had a bunch of opportunities because there's a lot of filling space. I feel like sometimes in that show, a lot of drag.
It is, but it's like some of those scenes I like though, because it's like the time lapse scenes, how they show like the nighttime and it turns into daytime and does the time lapse.
Yeah.
Like I was reading something about that. Vince Gilligan did a lot of that in his shows, and that's why like in Breaking Bad it works so well because of the desert and everything. But I guess while he was working on like CSI or Criminal Minds or one of those older shows where he met Bryan Cranston is where like he started getting the camera work as like a director on that shit. And I don't even know where I'm going with this. Kind of high, so my bad. But yeah, so Breaking Bad character arcs. A character arc. So what episode is the last episode you saw?
Let me check. I can literally check it right now. My laptop's right in front of me, so let me see.
There's so many good
and
shows
like
on Netflix.
Most of the time, really, when I put that show on, it's like I put it on as a show that like I'll listen to in the background. Like if I'm doing something where I can't really look.
That's what I do with podcasts. Like Joey Diaz, he has this new list of podcasts he called The Testicle Testaments. And it's just him talking about his life. And he talks about this one time, I guess, he said he was on a lot of coke and it was a bad time in his life. But he goes, I robbed a hooker. And he goes, and the hooker hit him or something. He goes, and I didn't kill her. I just took her wig and lit it on fire.
I'm crying.
So, like, back in the 1990s, he just snatched her wig and lit it with a lighter. And he talked about that on Joe Rogan's podcast back in, like, 2010, 11. And the cancel culture came for him in Joe Rogan a couple months ago. And, yeah, Joey Diaz was like, well, that happened 30 years ago, He's like, and besides, it's not like my acting career took off, so there's nothing to cancel. You have nothing to cancel. I was like, oh, shit. Bro, like, that's some real shit, like, if you don't have shit to cancel.
Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Get out of your feelings.
Like, even Joe Rogan.
Episode. Like, I think this is like I don't really want to spoil, though. Because it says I finished 9. I think I'm on, like, the first tiny couple minutes of 10.
Is there only... Oh, wait, on the 5th and final season?
Yeah, season 5, episode 10. Actually, no, there's more. I'm tripping.
Yeah, because they had 6.
Oh, so I started a little bit of 10. There's 13 episodes.
Oh, damn. Yeah, like, it was weird when they first came out, like, because I watched it on TV, like, as it was coming out, because my mom got me onto that show in like 2008. So after the first season and the writer's strike, which is why the first season is shorter than the others because of a writer's strike during that time, which actually saved Jesse's life on the show because Vince Gilligan was originally going to kill him off, and then the writer's strike, and then they saw him and they decided to keep him on, and he just made it.
I always had a feeling that Jesse wasn't going to last as long as he did, but I was always hoping that he did, like, make it to the final season.
Yeah, like, his transition, though, is so much, like, huge between the second and the first season. Like, even though the second season starts off where the first one ended, like, out in that, like, junkyard with Tico and shit. And I was like, bro, he holds himself, like, different. He walks differently, it feels like. Because it seems like in the first season he was more about, like, money and, like, bitches and shit, like, wanting to be a big drug dealer.
Terrible, oversized outfits, yes.
But the second season, he's more, like, you see he has, like, a conscience. Like, he is thinking some of these moves through, not, like, a lot of them, because he hires, like, Skinny Pete and, like, those guys to, like, sell his drugs.
Those are funny. I'm glad they didn't take them off.
That one episode where those 2 junkies robbed like Skinny Pete or something like that, and then they smashed the wife smashes the husband's head.
Like the one with the kid, the kid in the little underwear that was like that looked hella hungry.
bro.
Like slept in like the trap house.
Yeah, that's crazy. Cause
that was a while.
It's crazy how that really is like how those parents are though. Cause I remember in downtown Fresno, like I used to work as a courier and I'd have to deliver shit to houses. And one of the law firm that I worked at, one of their clients had like a kind of setup like that. Like you'd have to go across the train tracks, which is like bad. And like I parked my car outside their house, and it was right across the street from the Boys and Girls Club. I'm like, that's odd. It's empty here. But okay. Huh? I was like, oh shit. Must have gone home to their loving families.
Must have gone home. Pre-COVID.
And like and yeah, I just remember like you'd have to walk down this. I had to walk through. It was a chain link fence. You pull it and you walk through, and it's just this alleyway, but it was skinny, so like more narrow than a regular hallway. And there's just like broken down old refrigerators on the side of the house, like tipped over. And I like look up and there's barbed wire and shit on the fence, and like someone threw a rug over it, so I guess they were trying to climb over the barbed wire.
Trying to climb.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck? And I just kind of walk up, knock on the door, and like you look inside and there's like boxes and shit everywhere, and you're like, oh, I'm just here to deliver a letter. And people are fucking weird, bro.
No, they definitely are. They definitely are. I mean, that's addiction. That's addiction for you. I don't think they give a shit at that point. They're like, by any means necessary to get what I'm fiending for.
That's why I really feel bad for the like when I was doing a community service out here for my DUI, we had to work at the Fresno courthouse downtown, and that's where a lot of the homeless population is here. And so we'd be out there and there'd just be hella homeless people, and a lot of them like they're not, it's not that they can't get help, they're not being given the opportunity to get help, because a lot of those medical places, the VA hospital for one, is like you can't collect any of your benefits or use any of, or be like treated by us unless you're clean. And because a lot of those people, it's like the physical addiction, because it's like mental, but then I think it's something like Lean or something did that to Gucci Mane. It was a physical addiction, so his body was starting to like deteriorate inside, and he'd like get the sweats and shit like that. But yeah, it's kind of scary.
He came back big and bulked and looking all healthy, because when he was a fat man,
they said he was cloned.
Yeah, Gucci Mane the clone. You better count them tattoos, make sure they're all there.
Yeah, I was reading his book. He was saying that in prison, to lose weight, all he did was just walk like up and down the stairs, and like he'd just walk around and read. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he got handsome too. It's like I don't realize he was
skin.
handsome prior, but like his teeth are pretty.
Oh,
did he get them done?
Where did that book go? I don't know where I have his copy of his book, but he got his teeth cleaned up, but it's all the pills he was popping in the Lean, like what it did to his skin. Like I talked about in a previous podcast, for me, like when I had my bad drinking problem, like you don't really notice it until someone tells you, but your skin gets kind of red, it looks dry, like unkept, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so like that happened to him, but with the Lean and like the Oxy and Percocets and
codeine, shit. Like that's some serious shit. That's some addictive shit.
I've never sipped codeine or what's promethazine. I've never done those, but I have. The only time I got close to it was I went to high school with this guy named Chance. He's another Hapa like me, but his other pa. So his pa is Mexican, not white. So you know he's like half Japanese, half Mexican, and so like he was a big drug dealer. Like when I say big, like I mean like maybe a year or 2 years ago. He was so big that he got caught with like a couple pounds of weed, and he was able to have enough money, I guess, stored up from his drug deals to pay a lawyer and get him dropped all the way down to misdemeanors, so he just had to pay fines. And I'm like, and he's telling me that while we're driving in the car, because I went to pick up like an eighth from him one day, and he goes, oh hey, do you want to come with me to go do a drop-off? I'll just give you a gram if you want to ride around with me. I was like, oh yeah, sure. No, what I thought was a 10-minute car ride turned into an hour. We drove all the way from the middle of Clovis.
How many plays did y'all make?
One. And it was wild because there was this guy I went to high school and middle school with. His name was Tanner Keeley, and he's like super nice guy, always cool to me. And
government name.
but in I think it's the 10th grade in Fresno we have like MS-13, but we also have like the Bulldogs,
Right.
and
Never heard of those.
it's like a Fresno State, so our college it's like the Fresno State Bulldogs. So I guess they're
Okay.
like we're dogs too, and so
Right.
and so
We have the
he
Georgia
got in with
Bulldogs.
them, huh?
So we have the Georgia Bulldogs, UGA. That's our mascot as
They're
well.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was sad that they lost to Alabama a few years ago, because I don't really
Hey,
like
roll
Alabama.
tide. Roll
No.
freaking tide.
No.
Nah,
That
I mean, I to it.
that program is crazy though, like how competitive it is, because
Yeah.
like just
Very
how many
prestigious.
running backs went like and graduated from there in the NFL, and then how many they left because they weren't gonna get playing time, because Alabama does like 3 running backs a game. They run them and they split all the carries, and one of those is Alvin Kamara, and he plays for the Saints. He's from Atlanta,
Oh, that's awesome.
and his uncle is Coach Pete. He's the what do you call it? Quality control producer or manager or whatever. That's his uncle and shit. I'm like, oh fuck. But he went to Alabama, and he wasn't getting playing time, so he left
Right.
and went to a community college. Then from there he went to Tennessee and became an NFL player. It's crazy.
That's awesome. Good for him.
And he wears girls every game because there's diamonds in his teeth. And it's lit.
Ooh.
So, yeah,
Back
that's
to your story. I don't know how we got there.
Huh?
If you want to go back to your story with the hour play.
So Tanner Keeley, right? He played wide receiver for our team, like when he was playing football, and he joined the Bulldogs, and then he just like would
Right.
come to school like decked out in red, like how the fuck does someone get red jeans? But they do. I'm like,
No, tacky, but I don't know where
like
you get that from.
all red T-shirt, like with one of those pockets. I remember because I saw him, I was like, what the fuck, bro? And they're like, yeah, bro, he joined the Bulldogs, and I'm like,
Oh, nah, you're dang.
well, and then like in a couple of weeks, he just didn't come to school often, and then I never saw or heard of him again. I just went, okay, he's just gone. And so Chance is like, right, oh hey, let's do a drop. It'll only be like 10 minutes. I'll give you another gram. I'm like 4.5 grams. Oh, okay, shit.
It's fine by me. Shoot.
And- And so we're just riding around, and he's like answering the phone and shit. And I'm like looking over because he's telling me about how he's already been in trouble with the law for selling the drugs and his lawyer. And he's driving around with the phone next to his head. And I'm like, bro, you're gonna get pulled over for some dumb shit like holding a phone to your head. And like,
yeah, we have the hands-free law in Georgia. So
hands-free law?
you
Oh,
can
you can't. Oh, see, we have that too.
you can't be seeing your phone in your hand whilst behind the wheel.
Well, that's
Or they will
because
charge you.
we have that too. But did you know police officers are allowed to do that because they've had special training?
Right.
Isn't that
sure.
interesting?
You might have.
It's that
Of
I think,
course.
like looking at their phone, doing that, and then because I always wondered their computers.
They're typing on computers while driving. Like,
Right.
hello, is that okay? Is that fine?
He's like, oh shit, shouldn't have had that many beers at lunch. Fuck.
Right.
I'll be like,
I
oh
didn't
shit.
know that. So,
Well, so we go and then I don't even know we're going to Tanner's, right? So we go all the way past downtown Fresno, down the 99, and I'm like, bro, where the fuck are we? Because we're out in the sticks, and out in the middle of nowhere is just this apartment building. I'm like, there's nothing around it, no weeds, no trees, nothing, just out in the middle of dirt, and you're like, what the fuck? And we go out to this.
What district is this?
But
That's what I think when
I don't know. It might have been I don't know. I wouldn't want to be in that district though. Well, all the districts around here are terrible districts. But and well, not terrible because we get good like test scores, but terrible as in the sense that there are a bunch of like Nazi leaders running the school.
Oh wow.
Maybe not Nazi because that'd be insulting to Nazis, but yeah.
Like the artisan man.
Yeah, well,
White
no.
man.
It's like these people were like, they were probably picked on in school, and so they grew up and they're like, you remind me of the bully when I was 7, so I'm gonna treat you bad. I feel like
It's
that.
called your childhood trauma.
Well,
The
no,
fuck?
it was bad.
Gee.
But so we go and we just knock on the door, and Tanner opens the door and he goes, "Oh, Culpepper, I don't know you sold drugs." I was like, "Me? Huh? What? No, I don't have drugs on me." And I'm thinking in my head like, I left my weed in the car. Okay, that's good. This guy looks
Right.
off, So he used to be like, kids in like high school, they're like kind of naturally skinny. They don't have like a ton of muscle, but they're kind of bony, like lanky, right?
Right, yeah.
That was Tanner, except his face was sunken in, and I was like, bro.
He looked like he was on some stuff.
Like, it looked like he hadn't eaten in a day or two or something. I'm like, bro, like, my cheekbones pop out, but your shit's, boom, jagged out. Like,
you look like hungry.
And so we go in, and he goes, oh yeah, come on in, we can just smoke inside. And I'm thinking, like, nobody said, let's smoke here. Like, I'm thinking in my head, this is a drop-off. I'm trying to get the fuck out of here.
Right, like, I'm trying to make the plane go. What's going on?
We go into his living room, right? There's a baby crib, a bunch of toys everywhere and clothes, and then he's like...
What age were you guys at this point?
Oh, I was 20. Okay. So, like,
age, yeah,
it was probably 6-7 years since I'd last seen him. And and so like I guess he had a kid and everything, and like he's like, oh, I'd turn on the TV, but I can't pay my bill. And I was like, but you're buying weed? I didn't say it out loud, but I'm like, I'd rather have TV. But like, yeah, it was just weird. So it's kind of interesting though, like just seeing people after high school. Like I thought about it.
Let's just think about that.
I don't know what my high school does, like if we do a 5-year reunion or whatever, but I was thinking about it like, bro, I don't even want to go to that. Why would I want to go to that shit?
I'd be really interested. I just always have this natural fear since I was younger that like I wouldn't meet the expectations of myself. Like I'd go to my high school reunion and I'd have all these expectations for me, and I'd just be doing something really mundane and like not super happy, and I'm like how to fake it. Like, yeah, I'm doing super great.
Shy, how did the astronaut training go? Yeah, exactly.
Like I really don't want to have to go to my reunion and see people doing great and like fake it. But I also really want to see the it girls and the it guys, like, get fat and ugly because they peaked in high school and they were not nice to people.
The it girl's got a beer belly smoking a cigarette and shit. Hey.
Yeah, like gross. Yeah, like I'm really interested to see that because black don't crack and Asian don't raisin. So I know I'm gonna be sexy forever. I'm excited to see the people who treated other people badly in high school just be ugly and a mess. And it's like, yeah, you peaked in high school and now we're in the real world and look at you.
See, like, I used to think that too, right? Because, like, I got bullied before I hit puberty, right? I was, like, fat, wore glasses, had a bowl cut, so like this, but more straight around. And, like, it would suck, and so I finally got it cut in the 9th grade. But I think back and I go, like, bruh, high school? I don't know, when I think about it, I go, it was fun, it was cool, but I don't know. These people all seem kind of, like, dickish. Not like they were mean to me, like, necessarily all the time, but I'm thinking, like, I don't know. I've seen a couple of you after high school, and I haven't liked what I've seen so far. Like my friend, Josh, in high school, I remember I'd seen him also, like, probably when I was 20, 21, and he goes, oh, hey, Culpepper, bro, like, have you noticed anything? And I'm like, yeah, you look really skinny, man. You lost a lot of weight. And he goes, yeah, it's that cocaine diet. Could you tell? I'm like, cocaine diet? And so I guess I don't see, that's something I noticed too, is like I used to think, oh, I'm an open book, but now I go, I don't say a lot of shit to people, because that like really kind of, well, it was weird. I was like, bro, you used to be, I mean, not fat, but like you weren't anorexic.
Right, you look sick. Come on now, you don't look good.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, that's not like having graduated from high school for a while now, like the fact that grown people lack so many social cues because like they got so comfortable when they grew up and in high school and like nobody like checking them when they needed to be checked, and they go out in the real world, they go into college, they go into the workforce, and they have no social cues. Like they don't know how to be, like they really genuinely don't know right from wrong. Like they don't know how to read a room, like. And that's things you don't get taught in high school, especially
what kind of, or what would an example be of like you meaning like they don't know right and wrong, like for
like
example?
Socially inept, like know very well. Like, I have a friend that does that. They'll be like, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. I heard your parents got divorced. Like, that's not, like...
Yeah, they did.
Like, not, yeah, like, it's common sense to not go about asking people overly personal things about them, especially if you do not know them well enough. Like, some people just genuinely don't realize that, you know, that's uncomfortable for people. Like, that's not something you should be doing. Like,
see, like,
I don't know, it's things like that, just, like, overly intrusive. But they don't realize that they're doing it. They're like, I'm just, you know, I'm just trying to make conversation. And I'm like, oh, baby, that's not how. Like,
it's like you're scaring me.
Yeah, right. Like,
no.
Oh, like, did you get cheated? You're the girl who got cheated on by, you know, by that guy who slept with a man. Like, whoa, like, brother, you're airing out my business. I don't
like,
know. Like,
oh no, oh shit, what was that? Someone aired out business. It was like, oh, it's like on the Real Housewives or something. I was watching it recently, and they were talking about drinking, and she's like, oh yeah, you know, I haven't drank in a bit. She's like, yeah, I'll fucking bet. And like in the side thing, she's like, I've seen her drinking. She had a glass of wine in her hand last night. And like they do a cut back, and the bitch is drinking. But yeah, people have weird social cues with that, cause like, I don't know, like I've seen some stuff like Jersey, Floribama Shore. They had a guy, he was homeschooled, but it looked like he was on steroids. So it's like, okay, you look like a physically attractive person, but you don't have any like talking skills. And so he'd do all these dad jokes and shit and like dance awkward. But like, I don't know, I can relate to that though. I feel like those social like missteps maybe, like, cause I don't know, I get real like for instance, like not awkward but more shy or like nervous. So it's not that I don't have something to say, or that if I were to say something it would be like, oh, that guy's fucking weird. It'd be more like, oh, okay, once you talk to them more and they get in the groove of shit. So like, do you think like a lot of people are like that, or more towards like they just didn't learn, or what do you think could be like a cause of those?
It's a real ignorance is bliss type thing. It's just like you can't. You don't know. You don't know. Like, I think it's a matter of just not knowing. Like, they're now in this like real world stance where they're not in a place where they're in their hometown, where they're comfortable and they're able to talk to people the way that they used to talk to people, and you know they're used to those responses. So now they're out of like an unfamiliar territory. They only learn what people allow them to be comfortable with. You know, so like they're out. I don't know. There was something I was about to say regarding that, but yeah, I think it's just not knowing, because no one ever checked them, and now they're in the real world and they don't realize that things they were never checked on before are probably not okay to be doing.
I think that's a really good point, because like that makes me think like that's why social media is so like toxic at times, because people are in their own like little parts or corners of the world, right? Like learning their own thing, kind of doing that. But then since social media, everyone's able to have that platform to voice their opinion. You have someone from here who'd be like, oh, you tucked your napkin in your shirt? Like, are you retarded? And then someone over here would be like, oh no, I don't even use a napkin. I just kind of wipe that shit on my sleeve. You know, like, so it'd be like, oh, okay. But that's why, I don't know. I think it's better when people are kind of like, at least I'd prefer if someone was awkward like that, or like nervous or shy, than like for them to put on a persona or something and be like, oh, hey, you know, I just got back from the club last night. It's like,
who cares? And that's another thing I don't like about people. Like, when people don't know me or someone else well enough, and they try to like adhere to their personality, like they try to like mold their personality to what they think the other person wants to see from them. Like, it's like, no. And then you got it all wrong. Like, these are not things that like excite me. Like, I'm not interested in what you're even talking about in that way. Like, what are you being flashy to me about? I'm the most flashy person. That's just not it for me. There was something it keeps crossing my mind and then jumping out.
Well, we were talking about parents, growing up.
Parents?
Oh, like social cues and things like that from parents, or like high school reunions?
No, but I really am excited for that. I'm so excited to see how everyone aged specifically.
See, I'm worried about my high school reunion, because like so during my my time when I was like, I had a really bad drinking problem and shit, and I was just like lost. I'd post like random shit on like social media or like Snapchat or like Instagram of me like smoking a blunt or like rolling a blunt or something, and I'm like,
Right.
oh damn. Now that I'm not there and I look back, I go, that's pretty stupid of me. But I go, fuck. Now I'm like, oh, I hope people like I don't have to go to that reunion. They go, oh hey, so you still popping Molly, Robert? It's like, no, I haven't done that in 10 years, but I got a job, so there's
Right.
that.
I got a really good job and a family that loves me.
Or it'd be like I'd have like my kid there, and they'd be like, "Oh shit," and be like, "Yeah, bro, you said that in front of my fucking kid, bro." Like, no, something like that. Oh, it's so awkward how parents act in front of their kids. It's kind of funny though. Like, have you ever seen one of those parents? Like, today I was in Costco, right? And we're going, and this kid is just like twirling in the middle of the aisle, and it's not some small aisle; it's like a Costco aisle. And like we just kind of go past him, but his mom goes, "Oh, hey, honey, watch out! You don't want to twirl into people." And I was like, "It's interesting you say twirl, lady," but like he's just twirling like a ballerina. I thought it was great. I thought it was dope. And
No, I think it's cute. I think it's cute. I am so about like breaking generational curses.
Oh,
Like I keep noticing as I'm older, and I feel like I'm realizing more and more each day that I really am the anchor of my family, and as much as it is a gift, it's definitely a huge burden because I'm too self-aware. Too
self-aware.
To drink. That's what I was getting at. That's what the thing that I was wanting to talk about that I can't remember.
Self-awareness.
About, like, yeah.
But
yeah.
in what kind of sense? Like self-awareness in what sense though? Like where?
Well, I meant like I'm socially self-aware. Like I can read a room and like like adapt to a person's personality while still keeping my own, without like pushing boundaries of making them uncomfortable or making myself uncomfortable. Like that. I think that's what I was getting at. Like people just lack a certain amount of social like self-awareness. Like they're not grasping to like their environment as well as like other people would.
But with people like lacking those skills, do you think it could also go something like in the other direction where maybe they're too paranoid? So like instead of like going to a party and they're like no one's looking at me, maybe they're paranoid and thinking like every single person here is staring at me. Like, do you think?
Yeah, I feel like that's good because I feel like some people. I feel like sometimes it's the people who everyone would be looking at. They don't even realize they're oblivious. They're like. Or like that goes along with the people who think that people are laughing with them and they're laughing at them. They have no idea.
But see, like I don't know, cause see, like I've experienced situations like that, and like I'm not sure, like exactly, cause some situations I've been like, oh okay, like my family, they were around for my Xanax overdose, so they're kind of like shady with their comments. And so like I'm telling my mom like, hey, I think they're kind of staring at me, like giving me like dirty looks. Like, because there's just one of my aunties in her family, and my mom's like, no, and then like my aunt confronted me later on, like when she was drunk at my cousin's wedding, and she's like, oh yeah, we were doing that, I guess that was pretty mean. And so I'm like, oh okay. But then there are other times where like I'm maybe walking in a parking lot at the store, and then I'm like, bro, did that person stare? No, there's not staring at me. And then you could be like, I don't know, run up and be like, hey, did you register to vote? And you're like, fuck, I knew you look suspicious. I knew you were up to something. Oh, those people are great. But how my mom says I'm paranoid a lot, because I go, honestly, because I got a home alarm system, because I had one at my dad's my whole life, but my mom didn't have one, because I'm like, we gotta get a home alarm system, COVID, everything, like, bro, like, homeless people are starting to like leave the cities and migrate out, like, bro, like, we gotta have an alarm, and especially if we're gone like from the house. And so yeah, I remember she'd just be like, oh, we don't need the alarm. And so like I could have sworn it's for maybe a week straight I kept hearing things outside like at midnight, and I'm like, I don't know if that's me wanting the alarm or paranoia or like, but like
That's funny.
well, we have wild animals and stuff outside that make weird noises. Like we have owls.
Yeah.
Oh, two nights ago, my mom said she woke up, or I guess a night ago at 3 a.m. My mom said she woke up, and she thought it was like a raccoon. But then when she got a different angle, she was looking outside, and in my dog Chuck's food bowl, it's a skunk. and it was huge. And I was like, well, did you shoo it or like scare it away? And she's like, no, I didn't want to spray. And I was like, oh shit.
Wow.
So I'm not sure where I went with this. Huh?
It was in the bowl? Like
yeah.
in
No, it's like its head was in the bowl like halfway, but then its body was like huge and it was outside the rest. And like squirrels are usually the only animals that climb into his bowl. But they like take a shit and piss inside the bowl after they eat. So I'm like
That's like, dude, what the fuck, bro?
Those squirrels are like, they because we have ground squirrels. They don't go up in the trees, and and so like they like dig and then they eat like lemons because we have a bunch of lemon trees, and they eat the lemon peel and everything, and they eat they eat all of our pomegranates off our pomegranate bush.
Pomegranate tree?
Yeah, but I've never tried any because they're always eaten. But
wow, I never thought about what a pomegranate grows off of, what that looks like. Like that's wild. I don't even think we have the climate to grow pomegranates. So I've never thought about that.
What kind of climate do you need for pomegranate? I'm gonna look that up actually.
I don't know, but I don't know how well they'd survive in dirt. I mean, we're the peach state. I don't even like peaches. I like the spice peaches. I like peach flavored things. I like peach tea, like peach iced tea or peach like
what about
sweet tea.
Peach rings?
No, absolutely not. Rings, peach cobbler, all that. No.
What if you put ice cream on it though?
Yeah, I'd have to flood it in ice cream in order to eat it. But I like the crust of the peach cobbler rather than like the peach part itself.
Wait, what exactly is the difference between a cobbler and a pie and a turnover?
A turnover?
Or is a turnover just like a pie that you like make into a taco?
What the fuck does a turnover look like? I'm about to look one up right now.
It's like maybe a half circle looking. I don't know. I prefer pie.
Pineapple pound cake?
No.
Me neither. It just looks gross. Well, those look more like.
Oh wait, they have the circle pineapples on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, never mind. I have. She wasn't my stepmom at the time, but while they were dating, my dad's girlfriend made one of those for my birthday, and he was like, "Isn't that so nice of her to make that for your birthday? Isn't that caring?" And I was like thinking in my head, "Holy shit, this looks bad. This is gonna hurt to swallow." And yeah.
Right. Like, why would she have asked you to? Like, if she was gonna make you something homemade, why would she ask you, "What do you like?" Would you give me some random dessert and I have to pretend to like it?
It's just like bad though, because it's like if you can't make something good, please don't like make it. Like I prefer you just buy it from the store. Don't.
Right. Like the same type of thought. I would appreciate it. You thought of me. It's okay.
I don't know. I never thought of that lady. I was like, huh? You have a birthday? You were born? Shit.
Oh my god.
Maybe next year, right?
That's
but like,
wild. It's gonna come next year? You gonna have a birthday next year? Alright. Maybe I'll see you then. Oh,
it's like, it was bad. I guess I will say this on the podcast. I hope she never hears this, and neither does my dad. So, I was in the 8th grade, and she moved into our house, and when she moved in, she brought her parrot. I'm like, bitch, who the fuck brings a parrot? And
yeah, loud ass bird.
It was, because it would not even need anything to set it off in particular. It just go really loud, and I'd be like, what the fuck, bro? And so one day, I forget where, but my sister was gone, my dad was gone, and his girlfriend, Sherry, they were all gone. So I was the only one home, and I'm playing PlayStation, and the bird's just squawking, and like, I remember it always tried to bite you, it'd just be loud and shit.
Right.
And
what do you do with the bird? What do you do with it?
Well, see, I didn't like my dad's girlfriend either, and I was like, this bitch. So you brought this in after you came into my home? Alright, I gotta take it out on the bird. So I looked at the bird, and I stared at it, and I was like, I hate you. I hope you die, bird. And then it looked at me like with the side of its head with the one eye, and it goes, Meow! And it flew and it jumped at the cage like, shh. And I was like, what the fuck? And so I got a stick and I was like, hey, you don't do that. And I poked it and it goes, Rah! And it started trying to bite it and shit. And then I left it alone after I poked it a couple times, because I was like, shut the fuck up, bird. And like it would just keep squawking, so I'd like kind of jab it with a stick. And then I guess that night the bird died.
Oh shit! Oh.
And I go, oh shit, I did jab it. I don't know if it's from the jab.
The parents' dad.
But it was the funniest thing because we woke up, and the next morning my dad was up early and he's holding his girlfriend. She's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like.
Your mom was like, yes, stupid ass bird.
Oh, I claim that. Well, my mom says that's pretty fucked up, but I go, yeah, I'd like to think it was me.
I'd like to think I was responsible.
But, you know. Yeah. We never had pets at my dad's house, except for that bird. And we had fish. I remember one time, I had this fish. It was like a guppy, but when I got it from PetSmart, it was pregnant. So I was like, oh, I'll just name my fish Pregnant. And like, yeah, she had like,
Kitty. She was pretty.
Oh no, she had like 30 babies. Ate them all, and I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, I had a couple beta fish, and we had gotten them from like Chinatown, and when I lived in Jersey. And my uncle, they came and brought them for me, and we had like multiple. We had like maybe 6, and they had to get little dividers because they would fight each other and eat each other. Like they would like
cool.
Whatever to separate them. And then one time they weren't, and like they you know they kept dying. And one time they weren't, and these two had gotten into it, and they were like, one of them was super pregnant, and they got into it, and he or she, whatever, the fish, bit a hole, or like chewed a hole, or like whatever the hell, through the pregnant woman's like stomach, but she survived the longest. Like she survived longer than any of the other like 5 bits. She died before she like gave birth or anything, but she was kicking. She was alive and kicking for mad long. Like, I don't know how the fuck, but you could see, like, right through her. And I'm like, this woman is something else. And I've got trypophobia bad, so I don't want to see no type of hole. So I'm like, I'm not even going to look at you, girl. Nah. But I'm seeing you do it. You're kicking it. You're killing it.
Oh.
Nah, I do have terrible trypophobia. Like, even just talking about it makes me itchy.
That's with the holes, right?
Yes.
That's why I don't like the episode of SpongeBob where the wind and then it blows through him and he's like, what the fuck, bro?
I literally can't watch it. Like, it makes me sick. I was just talking to someone about that episode. Like, ooh, I'm itchy. It makes me itchy. It makes me like tingly. It makes me want to cry. Like, and people think it's so funny when you tell them like I have a phobia.
They're like, what is it? Trying to fuck with you.
They always had the picture with the hand, I don't want to see that shit. You ever seen it? It's like the picture with the hand and like what is the fucking thing called? It's like a plant of sorts that has like holes in it, and then it has like seeds inside of the holes, and it's like a brown.
I don't know, but it sounds very disturbing.
I think it has to do with like it's like related to like lilies and shit like that, like water lilies and shit like that. And sometimes you'll find them in your like potpourri. Not potpourri. What the fuck am I trying to explain? I can't think of the thing, and I don't want to type it in by just describing what it is, because then it's gonna come up, and I don't want to see it.
What did it seem like? Oh, hold up. I'll Google it real quick. What did it seem like?
I don't even know if it's a plant.
It was a plant. I think it had leaves. A stem. There was a stem on it too, and roots. Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna. What is it called? I'm seeing it right now. I can't do it. Just type in plant with holes. I don't know.
Plant.
I can't do it. I'm getting itchy.
But yeah, it's funny that SpongeBob though. Oh, Monsteras.
Whatever that. Yeah, they like Photoshop.
It looks like a Swiss cheese plant.
No.
No.
It's brown. Type in plant with holes.
Plant. Oh, plants with. Oh, bro, Google tricked me. I thought I typed in plants with holes, but when I pressed enter, I guess it was holes in leaves. Plant with holes.
You'll see it. It's like this brown thing. Brown plant with holes in it, and it has like.
Oh, what the fuck, bro! It's
Yeah. So there was this thing going around like on Instagram forever, and it's like it was like a hand, and then somebody photoshopped the top of that plant in the hand.
A
and people like whenever I have that phobia, they'll be like, "Oh, have you seen this? It's See, I can't do it.
I think it's a philodendron or something.
I don't fucking care. I don't care. I don't even give a fuck.
No,
like, I'll literally go to a breakdown. I will start crying. I can't do it.
See, I feel like that, and then needles, and spiders, in the dark, and heights. Huh?
A big ass spider in the car today. I had to kill it. It was mad big. I was like, y'all, nobody freak out, but there's a massive spider in there.
Have you ever seen Eight-Legged Freaks?
Eight-Legged Freaks?
Yeah. It was this movie, and this guy, he's like this scientist or whatever, but he collects spiders, and then all of a sudden there's like a nuclear spill. It's like a pretty cheesy ass movie, and
watch the
oh, it's bad. It's the guy from Scary Movie is in it. He has a mustache. Hold up.
Oh, I know he's on my scene. Ooh, this is not for the arachnophobes.
Oh yeah, David Arquette. Scarlett Johansson was in Eight-Legged Freaks? Holy shit.
How old?
That was 2002 when that came out. So she would have been... Damn, she was 16 when that movie came out.
Scarlett
That's wild.
Listen, this is not the arachnophobes for real. This is like, they look so real. For it to be an old girl, like...
But no, I can't fuck with spiders like that. It's just like, no. Or, I'm not really afraid of the dark anymore. I used to be afraid of the dark because I thought there were monsters in it. Like, you know, like boogeymen or vampires.
Right.
Possibly Frankensteins. But then, yeah, I don't know what it is about heights. I was hearing something, you have to just, like, do skydiving or something to kind of get over that fear. Just jump.
Or or something, bungee jump.
I couldn't bungee jump. I'd be like, no, I'm gonna have the luck where they're gonna be like, oh, fuck. Sorry. You know, we knew the cord was kind of too long, so he hit the ground. He didn't bungee, he just kind of jumped. And it's like, oh, shit.
He just jumped and never came back.
But, like, or people come up and they hit their head on the bridge or something. And it's like, bro, you haven't, oh, there was a video, is in, Brazil. And someone did that. They jumped, and then their head came back up to the bridge and hit it, and they just go lifeless, and they're dead. I'm like, fuck.
No. It's a quick way to die, though. But no, thank you.
I don't know if I
have
could...
really stupid fears. So, like, I'm terrified of people on stilts. Not the people, but the act of seeing someone on stilts. I just
that
don't
would be high.
Like, oh my gosh, because like I'm Caribbean, so like when you go to like Guyana days and like mini carnival, like it's so terrifying. I don't know what it is about it, but like just a long person overtowering you. I don't know. I'm gonna get canceled for this one, but this one I've been scared of since I was little. It's not the people, it's not the religion, but a full on like burqa, or like the ones where you can only see your eyes. I used to think they were like assassins when I didn't know what they wore them for. I didn't know about the religion or anything. I was just like, these ninja assassin people are trying to kill me with their eyes. Like to this day, I'll be scared. My mom would be like, oh look, your auntie's over there, and I'm like, stop.
I just
like
I always thought it was cool though, like those turbans and like the shawls and thing. I was like, bro, that's fucking dope how they had those headgears. But I always thought the women who had the ones covering the bottom part of their face, I was like, oh, are those the ones they think are like ugly or something? Like,
till this day, I am definitely afraid. I'm not afraid of the people. I'm not afraid of the religion. I'm afraid of just the wear.
The wear.
Yeah, and I feel like they're always staring. Once they catch eyes with you, they will lock eyes and they're following with your eyes. I'm like, they know something I don't know. Okay, they are here to come and get me. Like, I'm 20 years old until I still feel like that. I'm like, nope. Let me see the bottom half of your face. Let me see the bottom half of your face.
They're like, I would, but COVID. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, the eyes are the window to the soul, and I'm looking at you, and I'm not seeing any soul.
See,
I'm scared.
They were ahead of the curve. The Chinese and the Japanese were ahead of the curve. They were wearing the masks already, and the Shaw things, and then the Asians were wearing the masks. But I'm like, bro, I wonder if they have to wear a mask under that, or if that would be like a thick enough like fabric to filter it. That'd be lit.
I don't know.
You'd be like, yeah, I never have to put on a mask. I just leave home like this.
I don't know. Maybe,
I don't know.
you got me thinking about that now.
I remember, I think that's like, that happens a lot. Like in Saudi Arabia, they have that where women have to wear that, but I always thought it was just kind of weird. Oh, I mean, like you say the clothing, but I go, I don't know, the culture or religion is, it's not weird to me, but it's interesting because, like, of how, like, you're able to have, like, multiple wives
like
and
how,
shit.
how like non-modest we are, like it seems extremist to you know, Americans, because it's like, you know, the culture of women being, you know, underneath men and all that other stuff. I mean, it wouldn't be weird to them if that's something they were born into. You know, that's like, it's just used to. Well, especially if they've never experienced anything American or anything otherwise. It wouldn't be anything that would be out of norm to them.
Well, that's what I was thinking the other day, was like how adults are just kind of grown children. Not really, you know, adults, I guess, making them a difference. Like, bro, you're all just kids, but bigger bodies. But I was thinking, like, like with religion and stuff, because I remember for preschool and pre-K, I went to St. Agnes, which is like a Catholic preschool. And, you know, we'd do prayer and shit, but I didn't know what prayer was. I'd know you just kind of put your hands together for lunch and dinner time and sing. And, like, I'd be like, oh, okay, cool. But, yeah, like, hearing other people, like, because when I went to elementary school, they'd be like, oh, Robert, do you believe in God? And I'm like, no, don't. And they're like, oh, you're going to hell. And it's like, well, shit, bro. Like, if your parents, I feel like if you have parents who you look up to and assume they're older than you, they're telling the truth, they know everything, and they're just telling you, like, this and that for your whole life, I go, I could see where you guys get lost, like, along the way and shit, but...
Right, I was just having that conversation with my mom literally probably yesterday about how, like, I consider myself spiritual, not religious, because I don't believe in religion, because I don't believe in a system and a device that separates people and convinces people that some higher entity told you to hate people or hate the people but only love this group of people. I feel like it doesn't make sense. Like, people use religion as a way to be ignorant and to be shit people and say, Jesus told me. Jesus never said that. Let me tell you. Jesus never said that.
I think that fear and ignorance is, like, it's fear, like, them being ignorant, like, I don't know, I guess for, like, black and, Latino people, like, how if they get pulled over and they're like, oh, you look suspicious driving this vehicle, it's like, bro, I think that's fear, because I think those people are scared of, like, being inferior to someone they have been taught are inferior, so then it becomes, like, this racial thing where then it becomes fear and it becomes hate, and they're like, oh, well, now I hate that person because of this, and it's like, well, I think it's more just like an insecurity about yourself that you don't like. I don't know.
No, it's true. Literally, I was watching this interview the other day of this, like, KKK member. I found it interesting, and honestly, I wanted to laugh because it's like it gets to a point where someone is so ignorant and they just believe everything that they're saying, where it's just like, no, it's funny and it's sad because I pity you. Like, I pity you for believing, like, the fact that you believe so wrong and strong about what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, and he was like, what do you identify as? He's like, yeah, I'm a Christian. How are you gonna be a Christian and hate every other demographic that isn't yours? That doesn't make any sense.
Because they're homosexuals and God doesn't love those. It's like,
what? See, that's another thing. Like, why would God ever tell people not to love who you want to love? Like, you only can love who I say you can love. That's not something I believe that the God that they speak of would actually believe in. Like,
no. Well, God...
Not like, live your life, dude.
Well, it's just like how they go, Jesus is white and all this, but I go, you know, the original people on this earth were black, right? Like, those were the first people, they were black. And it's like, so you would assume in that...
He would not have been white. That just makes no sense.
Right? Especially in that area, it's like, bro, what?
Like, geographically, where the equator is, where he wouldn't be white.
It's like, we actually mistook him for albino out here. He was so pale, but, you know, Jesus. It's like, bro, what the fuck? Like,
in my head, God is black and a woman, like...
Oh, no, I like when you tell people that. Like, if they're really into God and you go, oh, yeah, God's a woman. And they're like, no, he's a man. It's like, how would you know? Are you interpreting his work in your own words?
I feel like God would be definitely non-binary. He's like, listen...
But no, religious people always have a comeback to that shit because you're like, oh, well, how did this happen? Well, because God made it. What? When?
Like,
Well, he did it in the first 7 days. No, that's not possible. Yep. And it's like, God damn.
About like following the Bible, like that shit is literally man written, and then telephoned and retranslated, like the way that it was meant to be translated eons ago, and the way that it is translated now because some random person rewrote it and told y'all that that's what it's supposed to mean. Like what?
Yeah.
That's a wild concept to me. Like I feel like that's blindly following just like
I brought that up to someone, my friend Carlos. I was friends with him in high school. He stopped being friends with me because I started watching the show called Black Jesus, and he's like, that's really offensive to my religion. I was like, well, I fucking love the show, it's hilarious. But and I went, and he's like talking about the Bible, and he goes, well, everything in it is true. And I was like, well, doesn't that seem weird? Because I go, like, if you say something, and what if there's not a word to translate what you're saying into another language? How do you do that? And he goes, well, they just do it. And I go, but like over time, if someone says, like what you were saying, exactly what you were saying with telephone, it's like, bro, that would be different. And he goes, well, it's all written the same, like every book is the same. And I'm thinking like, bro, that seems like some cult type shit. Like, how could you believe that?
Know that? Like, how did you meet Jesus? Were you there when he died? Like, how do you know?
Well, that's the difference between like cults and religions. Is like a cult the cult's leader is alive and the religions are dead, so it's like you can't question it. But I just go like, wow. Well, yeah, just the way they do that with religion, like separating church and state, like now with like the Roe v. Wade and stuff like that. And they're saying politics or news is saying that Trump wants to put in another Supreme Court judge before he's out. And then they're gonna repeal Roe v. Wade, and I'm thinking that's not separating church and state. Like, a lot of people who say like, well, not a lot, I don't want to say that, but some people who say like, oh, you shouldn't get an abortion. It's like, bruh, like, you're saying that because why? Because of your religion? Oh, like that's weird. But I don't know.
I mean, it's not your choice. Like, you really want to get me heated? Well, we'll go into that. Like,
yeah, like honestly, it's up. And yeah, I don't understand that. Like, why are we voting on that if it's someone's own individual body?
I feel like that's super unconstitutional. Like, how are you able to vote on a body that isn't yours?
Well, nothing is really... Well, see, we have the Constitution, and the government, the United States government, says that they follow the Constitution. They say when they get upset about other people doing things, then they bring in and say, well, that's not constitutional. However, in this like country, like the Bill of Rights, right? The first 10 on the Bill of Rights are unalienable, and like those have been like shown time and time again that like all of our rights are alienable. Like in Tulsa, Oklahoma, like how they're doing the whole 19th thing, the Juneteenth. People are like, oh, what's that? And it's like, well, that was when white people killed all the rich, wealthy black people in Tulsa and then moved into their homes. And like, I only learned that from an African studies class. But then it's like also with like the Japanese in World War II, it's like, well, looks like you can take away people's freedoms if you do things. And so like, I think recently, like what you see in the government is they pass these bills and they may not openly say that these groups aren't treated equal, or that the Japanese had to be in camps for their safety or stuff like that. It's underlying reasons.
They cover it up with pretty words so that they can pass it off as constitutional.
So, like after 9/11, so we had the internet, right? But there wasn't a government control on the internet. It was just kind of a free platform for people to do stuff in the like early 90s, late 90s. And then after 9/11, the government was able to pass this act called the Patriot Act. And it's weird that they call it the Patriot Act to make it sound like very nationalistic. And in that act, they were able to monitor everyone's internet activity, see what you're seeing, and do all that because they did it in the name of fighting terrorism, and never caught a single terrorist. And so that's with that guy Edward Snowden. He had to leave the country because they're saying he's a traitor to the U.S. But it's like he's the one who came out and told everybody this is what they're doing. They're tracking your shit. Like they're watching you all the time. And so
that's some big brother. That's some big brothers watch shit. But
it could have been repealed a couple months ago. I think like in February they had another vote on the Patriot Act, and it it would have been stopped if one more person had voted, and they're saying one of the people who didn't vote was Bernie Sanders. And Bernie Sanders didn't show up. He didn't call in his vote or anything. He just didn't show up. And it's like, bro. So yeah. So like everything you do on the internet, the government can read it. That's why a lot of companies are doing VPNs now to like cover your internet tracks.
Type of shit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Always doing fucked up shit in the name of like the Constitution. Like just because you put pretty words on it doesn't make it constitutional. That's like with the women and children they have in cages right now, like in ICE, like.
Oh yeah.
That shit, no way that's constitutional, bro. There's no way.
I always the second president was Thomas Adams or John Adams, right?
John Adams.
And or no, it wasn't John Adams. It was Thomas Jefferson who had the affairs with his slaves and stuff, and had the kids.
That's when Hamilton and what do you call it? And James Madison, I think, were all running. Yes, it was.
I was like, that's so interesting, and because I was looking through my phone and I found all these old like papers from my African Studies class when I went to Fresno State. I was like, holy shit, bro! Like, I feel like this is that higher level of learning where it's like they don't teach you that basic stuff in schools, so it's like really you wouldn't know about a lot of stuff. And so like you were saying, like people kind of like know their own thing, but then they believe that they're right and they just kind of believe it's the truth, and it's kind of like I think that happens a lot because our country doesn't inform people. I think a lot of it's covered up, like
they make sure that they don't, because they want to make sure that like the dumber you are, the easier you are to control. Like,
well, that's
the easier you are to like be swayed and
what was it? That's what they did with the Japanese in World War II. They said Pearl Harbor was a sneak attack. But it was like, it kind of was, but like, but the books don't mention how the U.S. was, because their allies were fighting the Germans and Italians in Europe, and the U.S. wasn't involved in the war yet, and Japan was on the Axis side with Germany and Italy. The U.S. was putting oil embargoes and trying to like jack up the price or completely cut off Japan from their oil, and and so that pissed off the Japanese, and then they bombed Pearl Harbor. But I always thought that was kind of a funny story, because I was like, oh, that's interesting. Pearl Harbor.
Like, you left some stuff out.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly why.
But even in my classes, my Japanese class, at San Francisco, we were talking about it, because I only know a lot about, like, inside the camps and stuff, because my grandparents have a bunch of stories and talk to me about it. But I remember this one girl, she just kind of raised her hand, and, like, she seemed real sincere. She was like, well, did they have good medical care there? And I was like, bro, like, medical care? That didn't exist in camps.
A real question? You think give a fuck about their well-being?
And then, like, it's like, no, they didn't have that. And then, even, like, how they're saying, like, these people, like, they've seen aliens, like, in the 60s and 70s and all this and that, and, the government labels them as crazy, or they were on drugs. And it was like, a lot of people don't know, too, that the government covered up these projects. They tested people with LSD and Nuclein or something like that. And because they thought, they didn't know it would expand their mind. They thought it would control their mind, and they'd be able to control these, like, sleeper spies. Like,
confess things and stuff like that, and it's like...
It's like, ah, shit. But that's why marijuana, because it was associated with hemp, you know, and that's a stronger product than, like, I think twine or something. I don't know. I heard this on another podcast, so I'm paraphrasing. But there's in California, so I've been to it a couple times. There's this place called Hearst Castle, and it's this place kind of out near San Luis Obispo, and it's a huge castle owned by this guy a long time ago named William H. Hearst, and he was like the head of the newspaper business in America at the time. So he had all this money, and because hemp was gonna probably push his business out, like he was gonna lose money, he used his newspaper business to publicize and spread propaganda saying that marijuana is like called this like wild thing, like it makes people crazy, they eat each other, like reefer madness and all those things, like the that shit. And he spread that to get rid of marijuana, and so that's why the government like made it illegal and everything like that. So yeah.
Wow.
So it's not even illegal in this country. It's all because a guy wanted the hemp business out of business.
Yeah, it's just, being a jealous
and
piece of shit.
and he publicized it and made, because there weren't too many Asians there. It was mostly like black people, Latino. I don't want to say Mexican because maybe they're from Spain, but Latino. And he said that they would smoke that, and they're crazy people. They're just smoking this wild stuff. But I guess in Spanish, marijuana is wild tobacco or wacky tobacco or something. So it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird how they put it towards racial groups to make it bad and spread it.
When it said either those crazy thugs, they're the ones who do it.
And then, like that reefer madness thing, it's crazy how they take a hit and they're like, whoa, and it's like, oh, he's going crazy. He's killing everyone. Oh my god. Or like
that's like back in the day when they were like, you get AIDS from sitting on toilet seats and stuff like that. They didn't know. Like,
should have used the cover.
Like that.
Or it's like that kid. He's like, wow, I'm so high, I'm gonna put this gun in my mouth. Bang. And says, don't do drugs. And it's like, well, what the fuck, bro? Like, I don't know. But like alcohol is crazy too, because alcohol was banned, and alcohol really is a drug in a way. And it was only what do you call it? Put under
prohibited.
Prohibition, because during that time it was men, they would drink and they would go home and beat their wives, and a lot of women came out and said like, God, this is fucking ridiculous, you guys can't be doing this. And so that's why they did prohibited alcohol, because housewives were being beaten at like an extreme rate during that time, especially because of like I think it was the Great Depression and shit. So.
Yeah.
And that's where like all the Kennedys and people like that got real famous, or like got real in power. Was the Kennedys were bootleggers, and they worked with the mafia, and the mafia helped get in JFK into presidency.
All right, the conspiracy with the Kennedys that's a whole can of worms. Like, wow, they're some fascinating people. I really wonder how things could have changed in like the turn of events that would have ended up happening if he was never assassinated. Like, how would the world have differed?
I think the government would have become more exposed, for sure. I think like because like during his presidency, they were doing wild shit, but a lot of people didn't know the types of things they were doing, like the Bay of Pigs when they tried to invade Cuba and stuff like that. And like I think the government, in a way, it's a government conspiracy, because I think they killed JFK. I think the government did it, like maybe not directly like an agent, but I think like through like drugs and shit. I'm sure they were able to fuck with somebody to shoot him. And
no, sure.
Like, yeah, so I just think he would have said a whole lot more about that, because it seemed like JFK like was a very young and innovative president. It didn't seem like he was set in certain ways. It looked like he was still
experiment and see what works and what didn't, instead of like stay on the straight and narrow of just like what everybody else wants him to do. He's like, no, like I'm trying to make some type of difference.
Well, that's why like, I'm scared for this.
They're like, no, stick to the status quo. Like, stick to what we've been doing. We don't want you to try new shit. Like,
are you having ideas of your own? Like,
excuse me?
Like, what?
You're just the president. Relax. Calm down.
But that's why I'm scared for this upcoming election, is because either you got Trump, and that guy's crazy just on his own. He doesn't need people around him. But it's like then
great evils, Jesus.
Well, but then it's like Biden, bro. I'm like, bro, the Democrats are so sneaky, bro. Like Biden's sneaky as fuck.
For sure. They're very Gemini. They're very smile on your face and then have a plan to do something else.
Well, it's like, I thought it was like cool, like, okay, I get it. You want to include like women and women of color. Like, I'm like, okay, that's awesome, cool. You shouldn't not include them because they're women or colored, you know. But I think I think it's fucking like crazy or madness when they go like, for the Supreme Court judge, because Trump goes, I'm gonna replace Ruth Bader Ginsburg with a woman. And then Biden goes, I'm going to replace it with a black woman. I'm like, bro, so Asian women aren't qualified too?
Right.
Like, I'm like,
well.
And then they go, well, Trump is so racist and sexist. I'm like, well, I'm not saying he's not, but like, you guys aren't, like, you're picking only a woman and a black woman for your vice president, and then you're doing that with your Supreme Court judge.
Like, Biden's main thing is to like be so relatable. Like, oh, I'm trying to relate so hard. It's like the type of people who tell you, oh, I voted for Obama back in the day. Like, why are you telling me that? Why do you feel like you need to tell me that? That is the same energy.
Like what? Huh? I'm not racist. I had a black friend when I was a kid.
Right. Like, what are you telling me that about?
Well, it's like
that's like.
If he does it, I go, okay, that's cool. Like, you pick a black woman, that's cool. I'm with it. But bruh, don't come out and start saying that shit. You sound stupid. Like.
Right. You're like, see what I did? See what I did?
Well, it was like that too. And are there a lot of black people in Connecticut? I don't know the black population there, but
I don't know.
From the name Connecticut, I assume it's not a very.
Right.
But he goes, oh, black people love me. Look at my numbers in Connecticut. And I'm thinking, black people live there?
And it's like, he's trying to coerce them and be like, no, I'm your ally, dude. I fuck with y'all. Like, slide me the N-word pass. We're homies. And then he's gonna come and bust y'all up. Like, I always try to say, like, he's a Republican in Democrat skin. Like, he's trying to pretend to be y'all's friend, and he's gonna bust y'all up just like Trump is doing, y'all. Like,
it's like that.
Don't even try.
But then he's like, well, if you don't know who you're voting for, you ain't really black. I was like, fuck. Shit, bro. Like, I was like, bro, why would you say that?
The population in Connecticut, 12%, but that's.
Oh yeah, so it's basically the same as like Georgia or Texas or California.
Yes, certainly. It's 12% black. American Indian is 0.6%.
Yeah, that makes
Asian,
sense. Actually,
5%.
5. Oh yeah, we're like in Washington State and shit. Nah, that's like.
Connecticut, 15.7 of the total population was Hispanic, 68.5 were white, 10.7% were black, and 0.3 were American Indian, Alaska Native, and 4.8 were Asian.
Well, that's interesting about the Native Americans, because I go like on the topic of like of reparations, like how the Japanese were given and I'm sorry and $20,000 to if you were alive when in the 1980s when they gave out the reparations, or like I don't know, really black people haven't gotten reparations.
No,
they're like
we're still gunned down.
They're like, well, I mean, come on, guys, we gave you gangster rap and crack.
Yeah,
like, come on, guys.
We let you flourish in the music industry. What more do you want?
But like, I'm like, the Native Americans are the ones who really made out with those reparations for reals. Like, I mean, you did kind of kill everybody, but they got casinos.
There's so much more, like, and they're still trying to take away, like sacred land from them, and they have like nothing left.
Well,
they don't have like people left. They don't have any land left, and they're still trying to take from them still today.
Well, the government has interference with like on tribal land, because like how they can't like interfere on tribal land. It's like supposed to be theirs, the Indians.
Right.
Like the UFC back in April when they were trying to have put a fight together, but everywhere in the U.S. was like no sports. They were gonna have it on an Indian tribal ground here in like California, a little bit south of me, in like Lemoore or something. And because Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, couldn't shut it down, he called Bob Iger, the head of Disney, who's also the head of Sports Center and the UFC now, because they got bought out. The UFC got bought out.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yep, by WMEIMG. It's like a production film business company. Like one of their investors is Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, nice. Love that man.
But yeah, so they had Gavin Newsom had Bob Iger call Dana White, the president of the UFC, and tell him to shut it down. And so that's why now they're fighting all the way out in Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi?
Yeah. Oh, this Saturday, Israel Adesanya. Oh, he's one of my favorite fighters. He's fighting like it's lit. He's from New Zealand, or I guess he was born in Nigeria, but he's from like New Zealand, like fights out of there. But on his chest, he has like the continent of Africa, and it says Broken Native. I was like, fuck, that's pretty lit. That's a dope tattoo. But like, oh, you got it. It's gonna be a good fight. Cool fights. That guy's good. Like he break dances and shit. Huh?
I really love New Zealand. I think New Zealand's a wonderful place. I feel like they got great air quality for some reason.
I've always wanted to go there to visit
Like
the Lord of the Rings. They filmed that there.
But
no. Like, you've never seen it?
No, I used to watch it when I was younger with like my uncles and stuff, but like I don't remember much.
But they have like, huh? Well, you know those houses the hobbits live in, like under the hills, under the grass. Yeah, they have those like made in real life there. So I was like, oh shit, kind of want to go there and see those. Like, smoke some weed, go see some hobbit shit.
Yeah, I feel like the accents are so cool. They have wonderful accents.
Oh,
like a good mix between Australian and like English accents.
Yeah. Oh, like they even have weed in the movie too in Lord of the Rings. That's what Gandalf is always smoking. Yeah, you know the wizard Gandalf, how he's always smoking? He's smoking that weed. I swear.
I'm crying.
Cause like that in the first movie, The Fellowship of the Ring, the other wizard's like, oh Gandalf, you've been smoking like that wild grass or something like that with the hobbits too much, and he's like, oh, I seem to like it, and I'm like, nigga, cause you blazed, bro, cause you blazed, that's why.
Off your ass, you are in the clouds right now, Gandalf. What you mean? I can see my neighbor's TV from here, and I'm trying to figure out what they're watching, because at first it looked like they were watching Adventure Time, and I was about to say, Adventure Time is not even on TV anymore.
Wow, that show got deep. Like, I never finished it. I watched the first couple seasons, but
when it first came out, I was like anti Adventure Time for some reason. I don't know. I thought it was silly until I used to come home from school and like make a little sandwich, and I'd sit there and watch it. Like probably my junior and senior year, and it was like calm me. And then I realized like every episode has some type of message. Like this show is so good, and it's a feel good show. It makes you feel good. It's like I don't know what it is, but the energy that is reflecting off of my TV screen is hitting me, and I feel it.
Yeah, like in the way they speak too, how they're like, oh, cool beans, or like Gunter the penguin. I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah, I don't know about that show. I don't know the order which it's in. I don't expect too much, but I just remember the feeling that it used to give me of like comfort and like just like a peace.
I feel like there's a new show about that coming out. Oh, it's have you ever seen? It was made by Duncan Trussell. It's like that trippy looking, like if you took acid and watched a show. It's on Netflix.
Are you talking about Midnight Gospel?
Yeah, I heard about that. Never seen it, but isn't that the same person who does Adventure Time, right? Who draws it and shit?
I have no clue, but I know that the show is amazing, and whether you're high or not when you watch it, it really is like.
But see, like,
into your brain,
would you recommend being high?
Absolutely, I would recommend that to everyone. I would recommend it like for sure, because the first time I watched it, I had no clue what to expect. I was around my buddy's house with my brother and stuff, and like we were high, and they were like, "Oh, bro, I have this show that I love right now. I want to show you, and it's so much better that you are high." And mixed with the graphics, and because it's like a podcast type thing, but it's like, yeah, it's like the show. It's a podcast, but it's with visuals aligned with the podcast.
So the main character like interacts with the audience in ways, or I'm confused.
Explain. It's a cartoon, and like they go on different adventures while like the podcasters are speaking. Like while the guests in the the podcast host are speaking, it's like they're like I don't know. They're like translating what they're saying through like cartoons.
Oh, like he's walking up the hill.
It's like this alien person. He has a podcast, and he goes down to different planets and stuff, and experiences these different places, and so that's where he meets his guests, and they like go through these different adventures and just like these different mundane things while talking about these really deep psychological like situations and experiences and stuff. It's just like mixed with the visual of like the mundaneness, but the wildness of what's going on in the visuals, mixed with like the wildness and also mundaneness of like the psychological torment that be going on. It's super good. It's super good. I definitely recommend it. It's odd and it's different. It's super unique, and I wish there were more shows like it. But
it's making me sound like mushrooms are the way to go for that show.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a show to trip on. It's definitely a show to trip and watch, but even being sober, it takes you on a trip yourself. Like, it makes you, see, it gives you a little euphoric feeling, a little, that little confusion, but, like, it feels good. Like, I don't know.
I don't see, like,
But it's definitely good.
my tolerance is too high, though. Because, like, I'll smoke, and then it's like if I don't smoke for a couple days, then when I do smoke again, then the munchies are back. So it's like, fuck. So it's like, do you give up munchies and not feel high? Or do you get munchies and feel high? I don't know.
Like, when I'm high, even if my tolerance is through the roof, like, it's not even like munchies anymore. It's just the fact that I know that, like, I am high, so if I eat this one something, it's gonna taste better than it would if I was sober, so I should just eat. Like, that's more what it is for me, rather than, like, actually being high and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat all these little things. I'm like, ooh, it would just taste super good right now. That's more usually what I'm on. I wasn't actually telling you what tastes good. I'm always thinking about what tastes good. Because I'm high, not because I'm actually hungry. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, I need to excite my taste buds.
Nah, see, because, like, now I'm just like, oh, okay. Because I was watching Drake and Josh the other week, and then the part where, like, he and Mindy aren't kissing, and he's like, what are you doing? I'm running a place to run off my desires or urges or whatever, right? I'm like, oh, shit. So if I do that with food, so then I just started, like, going into my garage, and I'll, like, walk around my garage, just, like, in a circle or something for an hour. I'm like, oh, God, food. Because, like, now, like, earlier when you're talking about self-awareness and stuff, it's like,
right.
I can be self-aware to be like, okay, don't eat that. You're, like, trying to eat healthier. But then, for some reason, it's like a lapse of, just like a lapse in focus, and I fuck up, and then as soon as you, like, drink, like, a glass of soda or something, I'm like, well, fuck it. I mean, I might as well, right? It's
I'm already, yeah, it's like when you're late to class, and you're like, you know what, I'm not gonna run. I'm already late. like, I'm already late. What am I gonna do?
I did that once, and I came in 30 minutes late, and the professor just stared at me. It was like, really, dude? And I was like, shit.
Not me. Yeah, I always thought about that. Like, if I'm already late, like, I'm gonna, me being any later is not gonna change me late.
As long as you're not that late person, though, that walks in and, like, kind of, like, flings open the door or something, and then they're like,
yeah,
you're like,
distracted.
Bro, who are you? Like, are you in this class? I haven't seen you before.
The real question is, are you serious? Like, can you sit down somewhere?
Oh, no, I had someone, one time in a class, they were on Xanax in a class. And they were just nodding out in class, and I just, like, was like, oh. I didn't know who they were, but they were in the class, and, like, when they'd speak, like, raise their hand, it'd be kind of like that. And they're just, like, slurring their words, and you're like,
oh. Something's wrong.
I'm like, that's not an alcohol Xanax. That's not an alcohol slur. That's a Xanax slur. I would know. It's like, nah, I wouldn't. But I was like, yeah, but I don't know. I had a girl when I was in the 10th grade in English. My teacher, Mr. Erdman, was hella chill, and we had this girl. She sat in the back, but like it was like one of those kids you could tell they were like smoking weed since the 5th grade. You're like, oh, okay, you've been around the block, I see.
Right.
And like she came to class one day, but she had a water bottle, like a regular, like not Dasani, but like the Kirkland shit you get from Costco. And like,
right.
Bro, you could smell the alcohol when she opened the bottle. She killed the whole bottle in less than one block period.
Hey.
And a block period's 2 hours and like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro. And so like, Mr. Erdman comes back there and he like asks her. And,
the back class.
Bro, he's like, hey, are you drinking? And she's like, no. He's like, bro, are you drinking? She's like, yeah. And he's like, and just like looks around at the class, like looking around to see if anyone else is paying attention. And he goes, all right, just go to the bathroom, clean yourself up, and go home. Because we were like in the last class of the day, but I was like, bro.
Right, like, go home how?
I know, that's what I was thinking too. Like, because I was telling my mom that story the other day because Mr. Erdman came up or something like that. And I was like, bro, I remember that. And then I was thinking, did she drive home that day?
Go home how? Like, she need to go sit in her car for a bit.
Oh, that class was fun because I like those teachers who don't really care what people do in the class as long as they're not really fucking with people. So like we had this one kid in my class, his name was Josh, but he was Jewish, so we'd call him Juice. And Juice. And he would like always fall asleep, and like he'd snore when he'd sleep, and I was like, god damn it, bro, because you snore hella loud. And it's like, so we'd get books and we'd slam them on his table and wake him up. And like Mr. Erdman would be like, oh, Josh, hey, you fell asleep again, buddy. Because he had almost called him Juice too. Because I was
like, watch the teachers wake up the sleepy kid.
Oh, it's weird when they.
The most.
Oh, it's weird when college professors do that, but then they just walk and stare at them while they're sleeping. Like, it's like.
Right, that they feel their body over you. Like, please move.
It's like he's still snoring. He doesn't feel your presence, or like.
Right, he's out of
shake
it.
him.
Listen, he's paying for this shit. Let him take his little nap.
I've never been able to fall asleep in class. My freshman orientation at Fresno State, I remember I fell asleep, like in the middle of the accounting thing. I was just in the front row and I just went out. I was like, huh. That's what happens when you go to that high, and I'm like, I don't know.
$2,000 gold coin.
A $2,000? Oh, is it like from the Revolutionary War or something?
I don't know. I just saw someone post about it. A $2,000 gold coin from South Africa.
Oh, my friend Lale, he was mentioning something about South Africa, or maybe not South, but he and I used to make music and stuff. He still works on it more than me, like, cause I haven't made it in the last couple months. But he said he's collaborating with some of his friends from Africa, and he's gonna send some beats. So I'm gonna try to see maybe in future episodes of this. Yeah.
Like African beats? That's cool.
Oh, I'm not sure if it's like African styled or like influenced, but African friends, so it could be. But like yeah. So. Huh?
I said African beats one way or another.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I wish they did beats that were like more, like cultural, like a Japanese one. I don't know if you had like a miso horny or something like that ad lib in it. I'd be like, oh, that's funny. It's Japanese. Like, oh, miso horny.
I mean, make it. Do it.
Oh, no. I'm gonna wait for him to send something and see if I can add it into this podcast. I know, crazy.
That'd be cool.
13 episodes. All right.
13th episode?
Huh? Yeah, this is the 13th one. So it's like weird because I usually do the GoPro thing, but then I have to download it from my GoPro to my Mac and then somehow edit it. But since the iMovies on my Mac doesn't work, I have to do it from my phone, so I have to send it to my phone. And yeah, it's just been a pain to get the video version of this up. But
right.
Yeah, I don't know. Wait, what were we talking about? Video.
We're talking about beats and,
and
the third
beats. I don't know. I lost that.
Japanese.
Inspired. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the episode. So like so far on YouTube, I've only gone up to I think the 10th episode, but like the last couple ones, I just have been putting in pictures and then have the audio file in the back. So.
Right.
But yeah, it's weird. Yeah. It's kind of weird having a podcast. I hope it gets picked up. That'd be cool.
It's cool.
My friend India from high school, she does like a book club thing, and I was like, oh shit, a book club podcast. It's called Booked Solid. So if you guys are looking for a new podcast on books, or just looking for a new podcast, Booked Solid. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to see if she wants to guest on this because I don't know. I've just noticed like. When I was in school and stuff, I never really got too much into reading because you'd have like a reading log, and yeah, reading logs are pointless, like filling out a number of pages and shit. All you need is a parent signature.
Right, yeah, I always did on those things. So
I never read, and then like in college now they're like, oh yeah, go home and read chapters 2 through 5, and it's like, well, if I don't like the book, I'm not gonna read the fucking book. And then you come to class and they're like, okay, so what you guys read? And I was like, oh, I didn't read shit. So, this is going to be a long class. Oh, yeah, this class.
One of my close childhood friends, one of the best, most successful women I know, she has a podcast with one of her close friends called Too Much Sense on I think Apple Music or whatever it is.
Nice.
And they it's very women empowering, like lifestyle based. That's awesome. They're awesome.
And you said it's called what?
Too Much Sense.
Too Much Sense, and it's on like Apple. Is it on Spotify?
I don't think that it is. Awesome. I think it's solely on Apple Music right now. But
nice. Okay, I'm gonna check that out. And like, what is? And so it speaks more like on women empowerment, or is it like that's just one of the many different?
it's about like it's like more lifestyle, more like talks about like dating and girl things,
Well,
dating and moving around as a woman, and popping up jokes here and there. But yeah, it's more like a relatable women podcast. But I feel like guys can definitely enjoy it as well, especially because they're funny girls. It's like what do you call it? It's like Call Her Daddy.
Those girls are wild. That not
Yeah,
the blonde. Whoever the brunette was, the brunette just went loco on that shit. I was like, oof.
It wasn't some type of they were canceling somebody. They were canceling one of them from that show, like not a couple months ago.
Yeah, it's the brunette one, cause apparently she was only in it for the money, and the girl who was the blonde one, Alex, I think. It turns out nobody else knew except Alex, but she was the one editing and doing everything, and the brunette just came and talked. It was like, shit, bro. So they cut her out, and Alex signed her own deal, so she owns Call Her Daddy by herself.
Good for her.
Like, it was crazy though, because the Barstool Sports was offering them tons of money, like, for their show.
Partner with them? They mentioned them a lot.
Hell yeah. And to live in New York, but so like now she does it, and like that must be nice. That'd be weird though. Be like a talk show, like Jimmy Kimmel or something.
That type of recognition.
What's that?
Your shit. Shoot. I'm there.
I never could get into that. Like, my sister would watch it, but I'd sit there and I'd be like, I mean, it's cool, but I don't know. For some reason, it's like when her and Dave Portnoy were together, like the blonde and Dave Portnoy, their podcast together. That was good. Huh?
I've never listened to it. I have no clue.
Oh, to Dave Portnoy?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Oh, he's the head of Barstool Sports and shit. Like.
Oh. Yeah. Okay.
He's the one. Yeah. So the girls who did Call Her Daddy, one of them, the brunette who left, her boyfriend was this guy who was a big executive at HBO or something. His nickname was Suit Man, and so Dave got famous, or got his name out more because he and Suit Man were arguing, and Suit Man was like telling Dave like, oh, you need to give the girls this money and they deserve all this and this, and Dave was basically saying like, oh, well, go fuck yourself. So no.
Go fuck yourself.
He's dope. Well, that's what yeah, I don't think a lot of people say that enough now these days. Not saying you should go around to every person and be like, hey, go fuck yourself. But it's like
sometimes people deserve it.
Well, not like how people go like, social media, they always bully me on that. It's like, you could leave social media, right? Like, you don't have to stay.
Laptop guy.
Yeah. But it's like that, and I just kind of go like, I feel like those are the people in real life where they're like working at Ellen, and they're like, yeah, she's not as nice as she appears on TV. She's quite mean. It's like, then quit. Like,
Ellen. They're like, cancel Ellen. Get her out of here.
It's like, bro. Ellen was fucking Dory in Finding Nemo. You can't cancel her.
You gonna cancel Dory too?
It's like, oh my, imagine if they did that. Like, wow. Like in 30 years, they're like, yeah, sorry, we're not allowed to show Finding Nemo. Ellen DeGeneres was a actual homophobic, even though she pretended to be lesbian. That'd be kind of crazy, like a plot twist. I'd be like, what?
Even though she pretended to be, my God, imagine that would be an uproar.
You're like, what? Yep, and her wife was her
The
husband.
Q community would not be fucking with that. They would be like, you're doing what?
Well, see, that's why, like, today I go, oh, like, hearing all these people, like, even Bill Cosby is like, bro, you raped that many people? Like, it's like, bro, all this shit's coming out now. And, I just feel like, yeah, it doesn't matter, bro. You'll get caught soon. That shit.
Right, you're getting caught eventually, guy.
Bro, it's even weirder that his wife knew about the shit, and she was cool with it. Like, what?
That's enabling ass. No. She's like, yeah, whatever. Live your life. Live your life, dude. Just, yeah, as long as you're bringing in the big bucks.
Yeah, that's like, it's like, Jeffrey Epstein, his, like, the female, his, like, sidekick or whatever. I'm like, bruh, she is demonic. Well, like, I like how Donald Trump said, oh, I wish her the best. And I was like, fuck, that is so cold to say to somebody, bro. Because, like, I guess when rich people or very wealthy people say, like, oh, I wish them the best, it basically means, oh, well, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, good riddance. Go fuck
Yeah.
yourself. I hope you freaking lose everything you have.
They're like, oh, I heard Jimmy has a drug problem. Oh, that's too bad. I wish him the best.
It's like, too bad. Couldn't be me. That's what they're trying to say. Couldn't be me, but good luck.
Bro, they're all ruthless. It's gonna be good. All right. Wow, this podcast has almost been 2 hours, I think. Shit.
Wow.
I'm gonna call it right here. Thank you very much to Shi Smith for coming on episode 13 of the HapaPodcast. Great first guest. And do you have any closing words, Cheyenne?
Thanks for having me. It was really fun. Thanks for letting me ramble. That's what I gotta say. Everybody keep safe.
Awesome. All right, see y'all next episode.